presented at a faculty meeting and as of right now the House is hearing the Senate Bill 1296, and so we had to share some information. Information that explains that the freedoms that Floridians used to have in a right to work state and the right that was secured in 1968 Jay just left elementary school, presented at a faculty meeting, and as of right now the House is hearing the Senate Bill 1296, and so we had to share some information that explains that the freedoms that Floridians used to have in a right to work state and the right that was secured in 1968 to collectively bargain with the teacher walkout has now given us a state that has, best analogy is Looney Tunes does. We are Bugs Bunny sitting in the hot water. We are dealing with that water increasing temperature over time as this legislature and governor continually pass laws based on organizations outside of our state, not listening to constituents, selectively trying to say that they're listening to constituents. And quite honestly, they've demonstrated that they do not care about everyday Floridians. They do not care about workers. And as a result, our contract is on the line, the contract that's been there for 50 years. And the people that had the right not to be a part of their union but benefited from the contract will potentially lose that. Or then they have to go ahead and choose to be a dues-paying member, which is being forced by the folks at the Capitol. So they're forcing them to become union members, infringing on their freedom so that they can basically say that, oh, I think, roadblocks in getting people paid. Which brings up the really interesting part, but why is everyone so ticked off at teachers and our unions who are fighting for living wages, like all of us are in this unaffordable, increasingly unaffordable economy, rather than to the governor and the legislature who are giving out corporate welfare and voucher welfare and these things that allow individuals to participate in things that they weren't even participating in the first place. Because 70% of the people that use the over $4 billion of vouchers weren't even in the public schools. And if your child goes to public school and you're still paying for all the arts and athletics and having to do all these fees, that's because they took the money and put it somewhere else. They're not investing in public education. But yet everyone is ticked off at the little people and they're not looking at the people at the top. And the people at the top are continually taking the checks and getting the kickbacks. And I don't know who's going to be the president of a university soon, much like Richard Corcoran was, and some other legislators that seem to make it a nice retirement spot for folks. But they seem to keep getting triple the salary of the individuals that were there before, and then giant $100,000 bonuses, and no one's paying attention to it. But we really want to rail on the teachers that are in the classrooms trying to make a living wage and life better for the students that they serve. Make it make sense. I mean, how many times do we have to do this played over situation? As a clarifying point, the contract for Leon County school teachers defines the workday of someone that is designated as a professional. Maybe that's changed recently. I think they've unprofessionalized a couple of things. But you're salaried. The only thing that defines the workday is the contract that says that it's a 7.5-hour day. When that goes away, there is no defined work day. Your work hours could be 10 hours a day, 12 hours a day. And it's not going to happen overnight. It's going to be the Looney Tunes thing again, where the temperature just gets increased little by little by little until you're cooked and you don't realize it. That's where we are right now. So, not into coercion, not into pleading. I'm a very stoic way of thinking. Control what you can control, right? People have choices to make now. Are you going to become a union member and preserve that contract that so many people have fought for? Are you going to understand and learn more about how the contract works and become part of the process to fix it? Or are you going to let that go away? Because I've heard it from young teachers, I'm only going to be teaching for 3 years, I'm not going to be here for a while. And we see that even more and more often, which is why we have unstable classrooms. But hey, who really wants to worry about that? Go ahead, do what you're doing there, legislature. Do what you're doing, governor. No problem. And then there's folks at the end of their career where they're like, oh, I only got 3 years left, I'm going to be retired, I got to save up. All of those choices right now have been taken from you if you want to have a contract. Let me put down a couple of things that make a lot of sense. Every county that's around here, those teachers do not have the contract you have that has a percentage of the district paying for their health care. What they have is a flat fee. And every increase to health care goes to the employee because it's only a flat fee. In Leon County, you got an 80-20 split. You got 60-40. And what we even were able to do with the collaboration with Leon County Schools is to make sure that that health care was even more covered by having every individual covered at the 80-20%, whether they're a part of Employee Plus One or Employee Plus Family. Your health care can eventually all be on you. And again, it's not about the people that are in office now. It's about what the future is. It's about being able to control your destiny. And at this point in time, if we want something different, August and November is where it starts. If people are not listening to us when we go and talk to them and they don't care what their constituents say because they don't make enough money or give enough money for a campaign or can't give them a cushy little university job at the end of their career, and they get called into offices and threatened and promised certain things, you know who you are, then they don't need to be there anymore. And at what point in time do we as Floridians say, enough of this? We're not going to be distracted by made-up culture wars, and we're going to do the right thing. And I want to make sure on the right thing that we're very clear. I was not a union member from day one. I was not. The person that they told me was a union member, I looked at and I said, oh no. I do my job. I rock out. I kick butt. I don't want to be associated with some of this stuff. But then there was no way to deal with salary increases, working conditions. The contract is the legally binding document that gets you that stuff. It took me a little while to get there. But what I will tell you is this. As long as I'm president of LCTA, there is a standard, and it is excellence. We do not want people to become members that are individuals that create problems, that are the problem. No, we want the folks that are leading the way. And I will tell you this right now, the vast majority are. Why? Because why would you ever do this job if you were not committed to the students and doing a great job? There are so many reasons not to become an educator, and this legislature has created it over time. They've decimated the colleges of education. They've made our classrooms less stable. And more importantly, with this bill passing, when people lose their contract and working conditions get less and salaries don't increase even at the rate that they are because we negotiate for a little bit more people are going to leave. And that's what they want. They want our public schools to fail because they want you to be able to shop your school and that school to be able to shut down in the middle of the year. Oh, because it's about money. Again, no coercion, choices, control what you can control. That's where we are. You either choose to have a contract, choose to be a steward of that contract, choose to participate to make life better, and then demand that people that are running for office, maybe that's you, maybe you're the person that should be running for office. Do the right thing and don't become caught up in this hubris of, genuflexing and kissing rings. Everything that you dislike about that kind of stuff is what is going on right now. And yet what they're doing is they're trying to pit you against me and me against them and you against them and all this other stuff so that they can continue to do the same stuff that they've been doing. Stop it, please. Let's not be distracted about what the real goal is at this point. And this building back starts today. It starts today. Join, and I'm gonna tell you, I'm gonna run for office somewhere because I'm tired of this. This is ridiculous. We've got to do a better job by the people that live in our communities, and we must do a better job by these kids. You only get elementary school once in your life. These are foundational years. You only get middle school once, pre-K, high school. And those experiences that those students have should be robust. They should be challenging. They should have the rigor. I love teaching. I love working with children, and I miss it. And I gave it up to do this. And there are so many people that are a part of this organization that are not, that deserve so much more. And it's time for you to stop being quiet. It's time for you to stop doing the complaining by the water cooler or in your faculty lounges. And it's time that we put boots on the ground and did something about it. So be ready, because we're coming.